boy, it's been a long time coming. We already got 2 people, and I'm not even watching myself is the best part, you know? Oh, I don't have a thing yet. And then the one left. Alright, anyway. So today's going to be a little more ad hoc. You know, a little more ad lib. Some words with ad in it, you know. Because I kind of tentatively have some welcome into today's show talking about No Game No Life. I mean, we could. I mean, why the heck not? I was thinking of talking more about games in general, because this game I'm playing here, you see this? This game. This is a beautiful little game. And it's a fantastic example of why games are actually, like, way good for telling stories. Because, is this nothing... No, because we can't... Yeah, exactly. See? See what I'm saying? See what you're saying? We can't because of spoilers. So, wait, we can't talk about what? No Game, No Life, or Journey? Yo, let's surf on the sand a little bit. Anyway, but yeah, we're going to talk about games and how they're basically better than No Game, No Life. Okay, so yeah, we won't talk about No Game, No Life. Very well. But we're going to talk about this little game, because this is a perfect example of how using games proves that they are just better at telling stories than pretty much everything else ever, okay? I mean, I need to qualify that statement because there's a lot of baggage with that. But let's look here for a second. Shoot, where do I even want to start though? I don't even know. So in this little game, and this is a fun little game. There are no words. Nobody says words. Not a single word. It's all just presented visually, which you'd be like, "Whoa, but Brian, movies do that, you dum-dum." And I would say, yes, they do, but see, what the cool thing is with games, there's that interactivity. What feels really good about this game is... do you see that? Do you see me flying? I'm totally flying around right now. Do you know how much fun that is? We've all wanted to fly. And granted, it's not like true flight, you know? It's not like I'm just taking off like a bird and never coming down. It's limited, but it's so much fun to just fly around. And while the subject matter of this little adventure is fairly simple, it's so good. It's so powerful. I don't know where I was going with this, but it's just really frustrating, you know. Because, and I'm sure everybody knows that feeling, like, that feeling where you find something you really, really like, you just think it's just the bee's knees, or, I don't know, the cat's pajamas is I've heard from somewhere. I don't know where I've heard that, but I've heard it somewhere. You know, you just find something that's really, really, really cool, and you want to tell everyone, like, guys, this is really, 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 really cool, and they're just kind of like, and you're like, ¿Por qué no? You know? That's not a fun feeling. It's something that, as somebody who has really, what's the word? As somebody who has some, very specific tastes, very peculiar tastes, very singular tastes, unique, all them buzzwords, you know? It's something that I've had to learn how to deal with. When you find something that you think is really, 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 really cool, you tell everybody, and they're just like, "ee." It's something I think a lot of nerds. I didn't realize we were talking about ants in this joke. Yeah, well, that's why I was transitioning to talking about nerds in general, because nerds, like, we talk about nerds, okay? Let's get sidetracked for a second, okay? Let's talk about nerds. Because that's what Chilltalk is all about. You know what I'm gonna do? Because this, I'm going to see if I can go into the settings on this in a second. Can I skip the cutscene? And see if I can turn down the sound, because I want to listen to my jams, dude. But anyway, talking about nerds, okay? Nerds, even within the nerds, okay? You know, back in the day, nerds were pretty simple. They liked all the same things. They were usually really smart. And again, they like the same things. They like Star Trek and freaking Lord of the Rings, fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. But now, with the expansion of things like video games and media and all that stuff, nerds have not only increased in number, but they've also increased in variety. So like I consider myself a nerd, but I'm not into Star Trek. No, stop. What? Stand up. Oh, because this is what we're doing. Okay, options. Really? I can't. Oh, that's dumb. I'm gonna have to go in and tinker around with the sound and stuff somehow. But anyways, there are all kinds of nerds. Like, I consider myself a nerd, but I kind of have most of my feet in. So, well, I've got most of my body in like the anime, Japanese, video gamey kind of sphere, and a little bit of my foot, so there's like my toes, or maybe an entire foot crossed over into like more Western nerdy stuff like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and Star Trek. I don't know why. Star Trek just to me seems to be like ultra nerdy because it's like that. It's like the science fiction thing where they try to explain how everything actually works, and you have to be semi-intelligent. You don't have to be semi-intelligent to appreciate Star Trek, but like it's very sciencey. It's very nerdy, But I'm mostly on the anime side of things and the game side of things. But then there's the Western side, again, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Star Wars, yada yada yada. There are all kinds of nerds, In fact, so the word in Japanese for nerd, otaku, is usually prefaced with some kind of another word that denotes what kind of nerd that person is. Like, you'd think that, the nerd is just guy who likes games or whatever, but you can have game and otaku, which is a video game nerd. You can have I don't know. I have heard tale of a thing called a densha otaku, a train nerd, because apparently in Japan you get these occasional people who are just like obsessed with trains. For some reason they just think they're the bomb diggity. I remember seeing one of these guys when I was in Japan. Kid, probably 14, 15 or something, right? And he was just kind of pacing back and forth up the platform, and just talking about basically rehearsing what was on the board, looking at his watch, saying, "The train shall be arriving in 5 minutes. All passengers prepare to board." And it's just a regular kid just being really weird, And I was like, okay, that's weird, but I guess some people just like are way into trains in Japan. But they're called a densha otaku, a train nerd, Hey, little things, come back here. What the heck? Oh, they combined to a big one. Anyway, frick, where was I coming from this? I got sidetracked on nerds, right? Why did I get sidetracked about nerds? I was talking about games. And how games are the best. Because games are the best. Just kidding, that's my own personal opinion. Frick, where was I going with this? I had a point to make. I guess we'll just talk about something else. So like, for example, right? So I've been doing, ever since school officially got done with the semester for me, I've been doing a lot of freaking reading. I've been reading some of the Tale of Genji. I've been reading a short story done by a short novel. I have read novels of roughly the same length that my sister wrote. I've been reading, I just finished a book from one of my friends, this guy who's on here right now known as Archnan or Shane or whatever you want to call yourself. however you want to be known on the interwebs, reading a light novel. And then immediately after reading this light novel, actually, we watched the anime adaptation. And while I can admit, like, one of the nice things about reading something is there's a lot of extra explanation. You can get insight, a direct insight into what, like, characters are thinking and feeling, you know. But there's something about me in particular that I really like having the actual visual. I like not only having a visual, but I love the interactivity. I have this bad habit that even if it's something I'm interested in, if I read something, I have a tendency to fall asleep. Maybe that's partly why. But you know, there's a connection that video games in particular can bring to the table that neither books nor movies can. Like, I would say a really good example of this is actually this game. Normally there's supposed to be a little dude flying around here with me, and the other dude is another little red dude is actually controlled by another player. And when you two are working together, because, like, if you notice again, I can fly, but it uses the little shiny on my little scarf to fly. But when you have a friend, you can do this little sing-song thing, and you'll recharge each other. You can't recharge yourself, but you can recharge each other. And when you're working with somebody, another person, and you're just, like, hitting your stride with them, and everything you do is just coming together, oh my gosh, that is such a good feeling. Like, it's an active expression of what it's like to work together, to have a friend around with you on a journey. You know, that's something that you can't replicate in a movie or a book. It's something specific only to games. So what that means, I'm also, because of my inclinations and my aforementioned specific, very singular tastes, you know, because of those, I'm kind of hard to please when it comes to my entertainment. And even with games, right? So you just think like, oh, well, Brian, are you talking about all video games in general? Oh, heck no. Because most video games, honestly, their story is usually presented in a movie format. Just presented to you with cutscenes where you play the game a little bit, and then it goes to cutscene, you can't see anything, and you can't do anything, and you watch a movie for a bit, and then you get to go back to playing games. God, this music is way loud. I can't get up. Frick, I already lost track of where I was going. But yeah, oh yeah, so games, right? So there are all kinds of games, and a lot of games I'm really not into. And I've, like, for example, I'm looking at a copy of the new God of War that we have. Game that everyone was raging, was so good, and so deep, and the story was amazing, and it's one of the best PlayStation exclusive games ever to be made. And I can't drum up some enthusiasm for it because it's one of those classic type of games that you basically watch a movie and then you know, you have some input on what happens, but not very much. God of War, the new God of War, the story could be told just as easily and just as effectively. Okay, maybe not just as effectively, because there are some moments in it that are interactive, but you know, most of it could very easily be translated into another medium. It's not a story that is told, or it's not told by any means that are specific to video games. If that makes sense. Whereas this little game right here, again, there are no words in it. I suppose you could possibly do it in a visual medium, like a comic book or a movie, possibly. But it would definitely lack the same oomph. Especially that oomph that you get when you run into another player and you're hitting your stride and you're working together. And you know, this game is called Journey. It's about going on a journey. It's about you, the player, going on a journey, the experiencer. And you can't tell it any other way. It's impossible. And those are my favorite kind of games. Games that experiment with games as a storytelling medium and focus on what games can bring uniquely to the storytelling process, you know? Because I like stories. To quote Yahtzee, I literally was watching Zero Punctuation review. That's why I seek out stories. I seek out stories to feel something other than the cold background noise of gray. What's the word he used? Gray. It wasn't disappointment. Resentment? No, it wasn't resentment. But basically, you know, I'm kind of an unpleasable a-hole, and I like something that can reach into my feel centers and make me feel feelings. You know, when I feel emotions, I feel alive. Even that's why I like really sad things. You know, I like really sad, depressing, despairing. I like feelings, even angry. I love feeling instances of anger from stories, not because I'm an angry person and I secretly want to destroy everybody, but because I like feeling emotions. When I'm feeling emotions, instead of just dispassionate annoyance with everything around me, it makes me feel alive. And that's why I like stories, man. That's why stories are so good, because they reach in there, and that's what a good story is. A story that reaches in there and shakes up your heartstrings, you know, and makes you feel things. That's life. That's living. And that's what I liked about this is, first of all, the feeling of the flying, like I mentioned, that's way fun. It's a lot of fun. It's like, holy crap, I'm flying. That's awesome. And then when you get with your friend and you're working together and you're just like, yes, this is my friend. We are a team. We are doing it. You know, it's like all those feelings that you get from watching all the sports movies, except it's you. You are doing it. This isn't you watching other people and experiencing it through proxy. This is you. You feel it. You feel powerful. You feel elated, jubilant. The same deal when you do games that are really, really, really freaking sad. You feel the sadness because it's happening not to a character that you have no control over and no connection to. It's happening to you. You. Oh, look at that. See, you see this little thingy? See this little thingy? It's gonna start following me around. That's almost like having another player, except this thing's kind of down. Oh, anyway. Alright, one person who's watching this, Shane. Do you have anything you wanted to bring up? Because I'm kind of running out of ideas. I guess I could discuss kind of the general vibe that I'm trying to go with for this thing. I'm almost wondering if coming up with very specific ideas is actually doesn't work as well for this, because I'm trying to find, how do I make this more entertaining? Everybody at work, you ask all my coworkers, and they like it when I break out into little tirades and stuff and little rants about this and that, and I just get on my soapbox and start declaring weird stuff. But I feel like I have a hard time replicating that on here, just because when I'm at my store and I'm with my coworkers, there's a certain level of, since there's a person right there, I feel like I have to entertain them in a certain fashion, you know? And therefore I become more entertaining. I crack more jokes, a lot of self-aware jokes about me being weird, but then realizing everybody's weird. But, you know, that's a little harder to do on here where I don't see an actual person. I mean, that's why I need feedback, dude. I need feedback. I need people cracking jokes in the comments. That would be quite good. Yes, little fly things. I know what that is. I'm looking for shinies. I want shinies because humans are just dumb animals and we're monkeys and we like shinies. there's a shiny around here somewhere. So, I feel like my best moments of talking to people are the ones that are ad-lib. So I'm trying to be a little more ad-lib and just going with my gut. But see, the problem with that is I end up in situations like this where I've ran out of things that I was thinking about talking about. Again, I still have a list of some stuff, but we don't got 9 minutes. Well, what the heck? We've got 9 minutes. Let's go for it. So, on my list, this happened not years ago. Good heavens, not that long. Calm down, Brian. But this happened months ago, a good while ago. But I read an article about tourism in Kyoto. You know, the big cultural capital. Yeah, give me power. Oh, I can't go that far. Indeed, I took the map. But I read a thing about people traveling to the cultural capital of Japan. You know, it's obviously a very touristy site. There's where you can go there to quote-unquote experience traditional Japan, as it were, even though as a history major and understanding Japanese history and whatnot, traditional Japan is a complicated idea. But anyway, oh, look at that. Look at him helping me out, yo. No, give me that. Shiny. Okay. But anyway, there's a problem that they've been running into recently because tourists have been, like, not accosting, but harassing, unintentionally, mind you, but have been harassing all of the geisha, the women who are geisha, in Kyoto with opportunities to, like, take pictures and stuff, and I don't know, just being tourists. You know, I'm sure you know how tourists can be. Tourists can be insensitive dum-dums. We'll call them dum-dums because I don't want to say what I normally say, use words that I normally use. But anyway, you know, they can be real dum-dums about it. And these geisha women, these modern geisha women, are workers. Like, they are working. They have jobs. They have places to be, things to see, and yet they get surrounded by tourists who are tourists and accost them. And, you know, to me, it just highlights the whole problem with this idea of travel. You know what the most annoying thing is when you get on a dating app and every person and their dog says, I want to travel. I think traveling's good. I want to go here. I want to go there. And I've had debates with people about if this is a good or a bad thing. To me, it's a bad thing because in my mind, if you're going to travel, you need to do so with the intent that you're going to visit a new place with new people and discover and experience new ideas. And that those new ideas should help you become a better person. They should expand your horizons, specifically your horizons as far as how you think. Because it's all fine and dandy to go see the Himalayas. But, like, if all you want is just to see the Himalayas, like, that doesn't do anything. You could look up on the internet pictures of Mount Everest, and, well, there you go. Now you've seen Mount Everest. So, if you're going to travel, it needs to be something more than just to see the sights and to try the food. To me, it feels like it needs to have a deeper meaning. And that meaning for me would be talking to people and discovering new ways of thinking, new ways of perceiving the world and understanding. And so when people go to a place like Kyoto and they very distinctly fail at understanding the culture, they very distinctly fail at appreciating what's around them, that irks me a lot. And I don't have a very high opinion of most of humanity. I'm just going to straight up say that. I don't like people in general. In fact, I don't know why I'm doing this, because my intent with doing a little show like this is to get people to watch me and like me. I did too make an announcement. But anyway, I don't like people in general. And so when people tell me they want to travel, especially when they're sporting they're sporting all of the appearances and suggestions that they are just a normal person, and then they tell me they want to travel, I don't have high hopes for that. I instantly think, okay, well, you just want to, again, you don't want to go travel, you don't want to go experience the world, you just want to have really cool photo shots to put on your Instagram to make people go, oh my gosh, you're so cultured. You look like you have such a fun life. Oh, I want to be like you, and you know, get all the likes and the stuff, which I say is freaking hypocritical beyond all reason, because here I am on social media trying to get people to like and do all that stuff for my stuff. But you know, I like to think that there is an air of honesty about this that I'm doing that's lacking in a lot of some of these other things. I would like the likes, I would like the recognition, I would like the attention, to a degree, mind you. Obviously, you hit a point of fame where it's just like, too much, no thank you. Oh, I love this song, yo. I'm gonna see if I can make this closer. Because I love this one. What the heck? What's that shiny? Yo, is that another player flying in? Oh, look. Oh, that was cool. I want that. Look at this shiny. This is what I'm talking about. Do you know that happened in that I mean, I suppose it could happen in a movie. But like, this was just a random discovery. Like, I discovered this thing. I found this thing. That's so freaking cool, dude. That's so awesome. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, traveling. So yeah, I like to think that this stuff that I'm doing has a bit of honesty to it. Like, of course I want the attention. Of course I want the fame. I want the likes. I want the stuff. But that's not my biggest drive. My goal is not necessarily to procure fame for myself. The fame and the recognition and the spreading of my stuff is really just to facilitate me possibly saying something that might make people go, you know what? That's an interesting point you bring up. I never thought about it like that, you know? That's an interesting idea. Or maybe to counter some of my points with some of their points and make me go, wait a second, I'm going to put this back. I'm done with the really good song. You know, to counter my points and make me go, wait a second, that's an interesting thought you posed there. I never thought about it like that. Because at my core, I'm a nerd, okay? And one of the things well, a nerd, I'm a scholar, maybe? I'm an academic? No, not those words. I need to free these guys. I like learning. Let's put it that way. I love learning. I think learning is the coolest thing. I love having moments of just, oh, I get it. That makes sense. And finding new ideas that I'd never thought of before and just being like, I get it. That's really cool. I love that feeling. I love exploring new ideas. And so for me to do that for other people is extremely fulfilling, and for other people to do that for me is also extremely fulfilling. It's all just fulfilling, you know. And so that's my ultimate goal with this. And yes, again, I would like the recognition and stuff, but it's based in this. It's based in. I was gonna say it's based in selflessness, but that's not true, because again, it's in my interest, because I get to have those moments of makes sense, and having my mind expanded, talking about just random things. But I do want to make other people have the same experiences. It's like when you get something really, really enjoyable and you just want to share it with everybody. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. This is me trying to share in my experiences with, with other people. And look at that. Perfect timing. Just got done with this last level. Anyway, so yeah, we're at 30 minutes. This was really rambly. Man, I was hoping that because of the virus, more people would hop on, but I guess not. I'm gonna have to get after some of those people who were like, "Oh, I'll totally watch," and then they don't show up. Most of my coworkers. I'll call them out. But anyway, I think after this little cutscene, I'll end it. Unless, last chance, if anybody has anything they want to say. I see we got a new viewer in the last little bit here. I don't know if homie, if you want to say anything. Friend, compatriot. Throw out a new idea and I might continue going. But yeah, I'll give you all a minute. Soul suck. Okay, well, I gotta do this part. I gotta do this part. This part is just freaking amazing. So yeah, I'm basically done talking about stuff, and now I'm just gonna play this for a little bit, because it's freaking amazing, but actually, you know what? I'm gonna go off on a different route a little bit. Because I can't find any shinies. Go! Higher! Oh, yep, see, there's totally a shiny dude. Give me the shiny. Go on the shiny. Boom! Shiny! But yeah, I'm gonna finish playing this area. And then I'm gonna hang it up. This shiny. Yeah, look at this shiny dude. Alright. I'm gonna call it good here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Those that did. We'll catch you later. If I can remember how to stop this thing. Ah, there it is.